All right, here we go. D.L. Hughley, welcome back.
Yeah. Last time I saw you, the world was normal.
Man, 2019, we did not know how good we had it in 2019.
No, COVID.
COVID came in and messed everything up.
Yeah, it did.
Everything up.
It did. But it really showed, like, I literally think the worst virus known to man is man. And the worst strain of that virus is white men. I'm telling you, man.
Really? Nothing worse than white men?
No, the worst strain of that virus, because we can work for people, but we're not gonna mess up the world, and the environment's not gonna be horrible, and like fish are coming back, like dolphins.
There's like goats in the street now and all that.
It's like America went, this nigga's not here right now. It's like, but it's really amazing how, and for all those people who said dumb shit like, I wish I had been able to spend more time with my family. Fuck that. Isn't it horrible? It was great at first.
Yeah.
But ain't you ready to go back to work? Ain't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm getting tired of my family.
Man. Like, remember when the Surgeon General came on, he said, well, you know, black people are predisposed to this because they drink and they smoke and they do drugs. You can't tell me that I got to stay home and I can't smoke, drink, and do drugs. Like, either I'm going to be a murderer or alcoholic. And at least if I drink, I can go to those meetings and get the fuck out the house. Whoever said you safer at home wasn't at my house.
Oh, yeah. I started, my vacation these days is staying in a hotel for a couple of days just to get away from the family.
Absolutely.
Like a local hotel.
Absolutely.
They're looking at my license like, you live around here. What are you doing here?
Who thought the Courtyard Marriott was going to be spectacular? The Holiday Inn Express was going to be spectacular.
I know, right? Oh, well, let's go ahead and get into it. 2020 election is coming up.
Sure.
If it's actually going to happen. You think it's going to happen?
Of course well, constitutionally, it has to happen.
It has to happen, but you can't really do traditional voting anymore.
No, well, you never had to. What is the problem? I actually
good point.
think
I see what you're saying.
You never had to. Like, I don't understand. Jury duty is mandatory. There are certain aspects of being an American citizen that are mandatory. Like, if you want to become an American citizen from somewhere else, there's certain things you have to know. Mm-hmm. If you are an American citizen, there's certain things you have to do, like pay taxes and be available for jury duty. Mm-hmm. I think that voting should be mandatory.
Yeah. Someone told me in some country, what country is it where you actually get fined for not voting?
I don't know. I only live in the country of California.
Which country?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Certain countries. Is it Australia? It might be Australia where you get fined if you don't vote.
I think that there was a time in this country where you had to have military service. Like in there are some countries now you have to dedicate a part of your life to military service. I think that in America you should have to vote, and it should be it's the requirement of citizenship. And there are people who try to make it harder to vote. And I think the notion that you want to minimize the vote, and some people get to shirk their responsibility by not being part of it. Like, you think it's dope to go, I didn't have anything to do with this because I didn't. But decisions are being made whether you make them or not. Either you vote or you don't vote, but either way, that counts.
Yeah, I was actually right. In Australia, first-time offenders, the fee is $20 if you don't vote, and then $50 if it's an additional. We
get more than that for not driving in the diamond lane. Like
right.
Like, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
To not have two motherfuckers in your car than to vote.
And I think in Florida they just struck down a law where felons had to pay some sort of fee in order to
be able to vote.
But they struck that down.
Let me ask you something. If voting is not important, why do some people try to make it so hard for you to do it?
Right. It's clearly important.
It should be convenient.
Yeah.
It should be convenient.
It should be an app.
Every aspect of American life has become more and more convenient. Why is voting not that way?
Because they don't want people to vote.
Because they don't.
Right.
Because they want them disaffected. They want them apathetic, and then they get to do what they want. And ultimately, I think that it is the cheapest thing you can do is be a part of saying what you believe. I think that you shouldn't be able to go on social media and not use your real name.
Right. I think that's a big problem.
I don't think you should be anonymous.
Yeah, no.
I don't think that juries should be able to vote in secret. I don't think the Oscar committee should have a curtain. America's problem is curtains. America's problem is that too many people get to do what they do under the cloak of secrecy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right. The Grammys, the Oscars,
Everything.
You don't know who voted for whom.
Right.
The court cases. I mean, Supreme Court judges,
Sure.
You know who voted for
right.
what, which is the way it should
opinions.
be. Yeah. Social media, I've said this before. If all the trolls out there had to register themselves and have an address associated, trolling would just go away.
But I think the same thing about grand juries and juries.
Yeah.
Why do you have to have anonymity to say what you believe? You don't have to have anonymity to do it. I don't have to do it. The political figures don't have to do it. Why do you get something that we don't, that most of us don't get?
Right. And you and I, as public figures, we don't have anonymity.
No.
Everything we say can get traced back to us
absolutely.
For decades now.
Absolutely.
So whatever I say, I know I have to stand behind
right.
it. I can't say like, oh no, let me just switch screen names
right.
or whatever. No. Whatever I say, good or bad, I have to stand behind it.
And if you're willing, listen, I don't necessarily I haven't been always let's suffice it to say people don't always like the things I say, but they know I said them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you'll never hear me say? Oh, my social media person did it, or this
right.
Motherfucker, if somebody put it under my name and it was true, I said it. Now somebody could ascribe something to me I didn't say, and I'll say that. But in terms of blaming it for somebody else, I think we're a nation of cowards, and we pretend to have. If something's a deeply held belief, why am I ashamed of it?
Yeah, and I think people also are scared to evolve and change their stance based on new information. They sometimes have to stubbornly stand behind certain things.
Or the cowards. People are afraid to say the things they say out loud. And I think that should be a tenet of America too. Freedom of speech is great, but it has to be backed up by a certain modicum of courage.